following is a production of Dirty Mo Media. Hey everybody, it's Dale Jr. and we're back again for another episode of the Dale Jr. Download. And it's Tuesday, so we're doing Dirty Air. And I was just texting back and forth with some folks about a throwback that's going to be running on Sundays that I can't wait for it to be revealed.
Throwback.
Yeah, there's some throwbacks out there, some Earnhardt throwbacks coming for the throwback race. And sometimes when people do throwbacks to Dad, they just do them. Sometimes they reach out to me and go, hey, what do you think? Does it look good? And so this particular instance, they've asked me.
I would reach out to you and
ask
you what would be cool to run.
Yeah, well, they've already got the idea. They just asked me if I think things are in the right place. As far as the way the car looks. But
do you like when they ask you about the throwbacks, or do you like to be surprised?
I mean, I don't have a preference.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be cool to be like, oh, I didn't know that was coming. That's cool. That's a good,
Of course it is, yes. It's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know, throwbacks are the throwback weekend's one of my favorites. I like the ideas that people come up with. A lot of things have been done, but it's kind of cool sometimes when they're done again.
Yeah.
Man, I would have ran that Gray Ghost every year. I would have ran it every year and not given a F what anybody thought, when I was trying to dress up for Halloween as a 6, 7, 8-year-old kid, all I wanted to be was a football player. So I was a football player every year for at least 3 or 4 years. Didn't give a my buddies and friends, they were whatever they wanted to be. I was what I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so, maybe throwbacks kind of like Halloween, man.
What was the football player that you wanted to be? Was there a certain player?
No!
I didn't know if there was a... What do you mean, no?
Did you really give
Well, I didn't know if there was a certain player that was like your idol. I don't think it's a crazy question
It's
to
not
ask.
a crazy question, but do you really give a about the answer?
Yeah.
Really?
Like if you had a favorite player, yeah.
Well, my uniform was a piece of generic red one. Didn't even have numbers on the shirt. Hole.
So you
way
wanted
to bring up a really touchy subject.
Dale wanted to be a walk-on player.
Dude, I wanted to be a rock star.
You wanted to be Rudy before Rudy.
From Washington. I wanted to be a badass, but I got the damn store brand shirt and jersey. It was a full kit, but still.
Was it the plastic helmet with like the kicker face mask that every kid had?
Man, they didn't make anything else back then. This is the 80s, hole. Sorry.
They definitely didn't make anything else.
What do you think they made in the 80s? Back in 1982.
He wouldn't know.
What do you
like?
What kind of helmet do you think was going around on the Walmart?
I know in early 90s, all the helmets.
Hey,
the helmets.
We weren't shopping at Walmart yet. What do you think we were getting from Rose's?
Kmart.
What do you think was happening at the Kmart?
Zayers, Kmart.
We were getting the freaking awesome helmets.
He wouldn't know. He's not from the 80s.
I mean, I was born in the 80s.
What year? 89?
88.
Oh, yeah, because you remember him?
Hey, you said I was born.
Yeah, but you got to remember something from the 80s.
All right. Hey, I can't wait till our Dirty Mo Doe segment later. I had
a good week.
1, 2, 3, 4 parlays hit last night. Night.
Wait, you had some last night too? You've been crushing it.
Woo! We're hot. We'll talk about that. Dirty Mo Doe is still alive and kicking, man. It lives inside of this show.
And we post the videos on the YouTube channel.
Well, I'm just saying, you're hearing the feedback. People are like, oh, Dirty Mo Doe's gone.
We're thriving right now.
It's not gone, dummies.
It's
thriving right now.
It's in the show, people.
It's thriving.
Come on. We do miss Latart, but hey, we still got Tim's, Travis, me. I don't bring much to the table other than winning. Parlays. I don't bring much to the table except for I don't lose.
I usually lose.
Dale's carrying the team.
Hey, for 10 days, I've been giving you guys my parlays, and you've been on them, Travis.
I give you a hard time, but I ride them.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
We're going to talk about it. All right, so let's get to COTA, right?
Let's go.
Let's talk about it.
Back to COTA.
Right before we go to COTA, man, I just want to say real quick, the Cars Tour had its season opener this past weekend. The Cars Tour is off and running. If you don't go to a race, watch it on Flow Live. we had a historical moment in the pro late models. The first female winner in the Cars Tour, Jade Avedizian. And she apparently comes from the dirt world and kicks ass.
Yeah, midgets and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so hey, we're thankful that she's trying to gain some more skill at her craft. Development and all that good stuff over in the Cars Tour. And so there was a little issue in Tech. She was second in when they crossed the finish line, but the leader got thrown out for left side weight.
But don't let that fool you, because she was
right on his ass. So,
well, they had many restarts where she was racing side by side for the lead.
So hey, man, she earned it.
Yes.
Put yourself in position, no matter how it falls down. She earned it. She'll probably, definitely want to go out there and cross the finish line first, and if she keeps it up, she will. So congratulations to her. Connor Hall, driving for Junior Motorsports, gets the late model stock version or portion of the night. And we have a very talented female in that field as well, Lainey Bice. So pretty cool. The series looked great on TV, on Flow. The booth was awesome. The race cars looked great. Yeah, everything was good. So great kickoff to the season. We got a couple of weeks off until we go to Wake County. And then after Wake County, we're going to Cordele, where I race. I just learned it's Cordele.
Oh, it's not Cordell?
I thought it was Cordele. Some people say it's both. But we're going to Cordele, Georgia. April 12th, I'll be racing in that one. And I am racing. You know why? Because I've got the 8 cars points from last year. So if I need a provisional, I'll take a provisional. So the work, that I'm talking about being nervous all the time? No more nervous.
That Florence stuff scared you?
Scared me?
Yeah. But that last time I went to Florence to watch you race that last race. Holy cow.
Look, man, qualifying's hard. And we had 40 cars at the race this weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I don't know how many will be in Cordele, but there will probably be enough for somebody to go home.
Probably
My
41 now.
Racing. I'm racing.
When will you start mentally getting ready for the race?
Can you not tell I'm mentally ready? I'm talking about it.
Yeah, but I'm are you already thinking about
Is that a real question?
Yeah.
I heard Cordele is one of the toughest tracks y'all go to.
Hey, TJ, are you mentally getting prepared for
which one?
For your next race?
I think I'm still in COTA. I don't know. I mean,
what kind of question is that?
What do you mean? What kind of question is it?
Am I mentally prepared or getting mentally
when you
prepared?
start thinking about the race?
I don't. I go put my suit on, I climb in, and crank it up and drive. I don't know.
There we go. That's what I wanted.
I mean, what do you do? What is mentally preparing?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Is there anything that you would do specifically to get ready for a race?
I mean, I would probably go watch last year's race there or a recent race.
Oh.
And just kind of see how they race and how they drive.
That's just what I call preparing, not mentally preparing.
I don't really know. This isn't you got to go out there and run into the corner.
I just call that getting ready.
Yeah.
I am getting ready. I don't know what mentally preparing is. Maybe that's why sometimes I don't kick everybody's ass. Maybe I'm not mentally preparing.
I would think there'd be a little.
Maybe I'm missing that part.
Maybe there's a little bit for qualifying, mentally preparing yourself, kind of going thinking it over.
You can mentally psych yourself out. I know how to do
I know you can.
Yeah, I know how to do that. The less mentally anything I'm doing for qualifying, the better.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just take the Xbox and right before qualifying, just play football. And, hey, you got to go get in.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going again.
Yeah. I think maybe I should just wear a blindfold. I'd probably have just as much success in qualifying. So, no bull, man. I'm giving you a hard time, Travis. I need to talk to, let's see, Bubba Pollard. Ask him some questions. So, I mean, I've got to, I'm going to call him because he runs at Cordele a lot. And I'm going to go and see what he can do to help me. I might call a couple other folks that race down there and just sort of – and then, I went over to the shop yesterday, helped them unload their cars from this past weekend when they raced at Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And we got a new trailer for our Cars Tour team. We were in bad need of a trailer. Our trailer was banged up.
I liked that trailer. Thought it was all right.
Well, we still got the old one, so that's the one I'll be using. But the new, the A-Team, Connor Hall and his guys, they got a new trailer. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh.
Same size or bigger?
A little longer.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome trailer, though. God almighty. But anyhow, I'm excited about all that. Let's get into the COTA race. All right, everybody, Cars Tour, y'all got it? You're going to tune in next week?
2 weeks.
Or tune in 2 weeks at Wake County. I want to see record numbers. I get the numbers from Flo of how many people are tuning in. We're growing. We're going up. Every race, better than last. This opener was better than last year's opener. All those things are great. But come on, let's get it going. Let's really kick ass and get the viewership way the hell up there. I think it could go way up.
I mean, it's still rising.
It's rising.
A little bit at a time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm ready for a big jump. It's good, and I don't want people to miss out while it's here. It's happening.
It is good racing,
It's
too.
happening, man. Enjoy it now. It's here. Good short track racing. Some of the best in the country. Hey, everybody. You want the latest Dale Jr. download apparel? Visit shop.dirtymomedia.com. We're always adding new stuff all the time, especially like when we say something silly on this show. We'll put it on a t-shirt. Again, check it out at shop.dirtymomedia.com. COTA. So we had the Xfinity. So let me first say this, man. And I've shared my opinions a little bit on social media. I try not to do that, Travis, because I know you want me to save it for the show.
Yeah, save it.
But geez. All right. So I didn't like COTA. Didn't like it. Didn't like the long track. Boring. Cautions take forever. Course limits, track limits, bull. I hated the track. Didn't like it. Bunch of paint, red and white and blue and everywhere.
Formula One.
Yep, not into it. So, when they go up the hill into turn one, that was cool. But as soon as they get out of turn one, it's just a big old flat piece of asphalt with paint all over it, and they just trying to, it's like, it just doesn't look like a racetrack. Didn't enjoy it. Can I have made that clear? Clear. New COTA, awesome. I love it. New COTA is great. I can't say it enough. I mean,
it's amazing what a change does.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
TJ, they didn't do nothing but take a mile out of the racetrack.
Yeah, it was definitely way better in my opinion as well.
I'm trying not to say the word.
Why
I'm
not?
sorry. I'm saying it too much, but it's just
Use it.
Hey, you're emotional about it. It's
I
understandable.
can't help it, guys.
We've got a censor button that we can.
All right, yep, censor it.
I didn't think 6 would be a passing zone like it was, and it actually turned out to be a really good passing zone.
Well, that is a great point, but they just literally took a mile off this stupid track and made it an awesome track.
Yeah.
I'm shocked because I would have never thought that I would like it. And man, did I am just trying to eat some crow here. This is why I don't build racetracks. And this is why sometimes, I just need to stay in my lane. Because, I didn't like it at all. And now I love it. It's like this little short track road course.
It is.
So all the road courses that we run in the NASCAR world are relatively traditional links. And that to me is why I don't love road course racing as much as I like the ovals. And my favorite type of oval is going to be the beat up and bang short track style racing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the road courses are the biggest departure from what I really love about the core part of the sport that I really love. Everybody has a different opinion about what's great about NASCAR, and I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate what you love and what you love. But I love the short track stuff, and I love the tempers and the beating and banging. I love the way the cars tell a story when the race is over, and I just don't get into the road course stuff that much. The left and right and the technical, and it's a lot of, it just doesn't turn me on, man. So they go to COTA, and I was frustrated about Texas, the oval, and how we were struggling as an industry to really kind of get Texas right. They'd reconfigured turn 1 and 2. It was a brave effort to try to make that track better that failed, or at least failed in the short term. We didn't love the new Texas. And, man, it's taking some hits. Would you agree? How about nod in agreement? Thank you. All right.
TJ, nod.
Yeah, somebody nod in agreement.
Times. I agree.
So, because I know I'm telling the truth. And it's hard for me to say that because Marcus is my buddy, but it's his racetrack. So that's why I need someone in the room to nod in agreement.
I agree.
So here's COTA now coming onto the scene. And I'm like, well, damn. I don't like road courses, and here's a really long one. And these track limits, what the is that all about? We don't have I've never even heard track limits until now, and that's really annoying. COTA to me was just another hurdle or roadblock to figuring out how to get Texas Oval back to good. Because if COTA goes and has success, Texas Oval's further and further into the back of our minds and fading into the middle distance. I was worried about that. So, I wasn't a fan of COTA. I didn't want COTA. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it. Selfish. Just me. Lots of people love COTA. I get it. Dude, they took a mile out of this track, something that I didn't think would make a hill of beans, and it turned into an incredible race all weekend, every lap. And you know what I thought? There's a lot of great reasons now. I have been but I do want to get serious. So why this was so smart. I've been sitting in meetings about Mexico City and with our Amazon team, and one of our things that we're going to try to do one of the things that we're going to be mindful of is trying to help people understand with this relatively new track for a lot of people. Some people have probably watched races that have been there, but some people will be seeing this race course for the first time when they watch the races this summer. And helping people understand where the cars are on the track, okay? And that's important. And for new fans, is what turn are they entering? Is this a passing opportunity? What the am I watching? And so, that's kind of that's one of the challenges when you're going to a new road course for a television audience. And so when they shortened up this course, I know it still had a lot of turns, but literally the laps were so quick and the laps were short enough for you to really, I think, mentally pick up on exactly, you knew kind of where they were on the track at all times. As you watch the race, you learn the course yourself as a viewer. And as they're having these late race battles, oh man, they're in that turn. There's only one or two more turns to the finish line. You were very aware of where they were on the racetrack. And I thought that was really, that was something that I wasn't really experiencing before with COTA because there were just too many turns, too much track. Now I could, if you said, "Hey man, where are they on the track?" I could probably say, "Yeah, they're on the far end," or they're about halfway through the lap. But still, that to me made the racing experience for the viewer much easier to enjoy. I thought that's kind of an insignificant thing to some people, but shortening up the course to make the course easier to digest, and therefore, especially when you have these badass races at the end, it was so much funner to watch play out, and the intensity was up because the laps were shorter, and you knew. Like 6A was a passing zone, an awkward one, but a very unique kind of moment where they were kind of cutting this course in turn 6, and then the guy could switch back and jump to the inside. We saw a lot of great cool passes happening there.
Some wrecks.
Saw some wrecks. And so you didn't have long as you anticipated them reaching that part of the track again when they're having this, one-on-one battle for the lead in multiple points of each race. You didn't have very long of anticipation to see them get back to that point. And would he be in position to make a move? And that there were several instances on the racetrack like the braking zone into the final turn, coming on the first straightaway, things like that. So it just really, really changed this course. something that I thought would have no bearing. How would taking a mile away from this course really change it? It did. And bravo, whoever thought, I'm sure this was a long conversation with a lot of people giving input. It wasn't just one person stood up and go, hey, just take a mile out. This was a conversation probably started around, hey, when we have a caution, the cautions are too long. Let's shorten the course. Can we shorten the course? Okay, let's look at the course. Where could we shorten it? I mean, this is probably something that was a process, but the team of people or the people that got all that figured out bravo, good job. COTA, to me, is now, believe it or not, a guy who's not a big, massive road course fan. I am excited for them to go back.
Well, we need a contract.
Well, it's something that I hope returns or hope stays part of our schedule. I could have give a crap about it before this weekend. I would have not cared had COTA went away and never returned. But now, it's like it's giving me what I love about short track racing in the form of a road course. I want more of that. When they talk about, hey, man, we should go overseas, we should go over to Europe, where should we race in Europe? One of the racetracks, if you're familiar at all with tracks in Europe, Brands Hatch is a very historic racetrack. They have a long course that's really cool, but they
Wouldn't suit us well.
They also have an Indy course that's really short. The British Touring Car Championship used to race there. I don't know if they still do, but the European NASCAR Euro runs on the Indy course, I believe. But it's a really short bull ring of a road course, and basically, that's kind of what I feel like we got with this new COTA design, and I'm hoping it sticks around. It was pretty cool. I wanted to say that off the top. And let's get into the races.
What was your perspective, though, TJ, up in the spotter stand with the race?
I was in turn 12, which is after 6B at the end of the old long straightaway there. And I can see a majority of the track there except for 1920. I can see when they get into 1, but it is a way different racetrack now, way more fun. I was there last year as well in the same section and just missed they would get spread out going up that hill where the dirt was getting on the track, and there wasn't as much passing in that hairpin and stuff. The way this configuration is now keeps them bunched up.
Yeah. And
man, I'm not gonna lie, man, there's what I like about COTA is there's consequences around the whole racetrack. In the S's, obviously you got track limits there. The guys are getting much better with the track limit stuff. The drivers are getting really good at it. 6, you got a little bit of dirt on the right, a barrier on the left.
Yeah.
There was wrecks there, guys, and when you leave 6A, there's a wall on the right, and those guys are inches off that wall. And if you mess up, 6B, also a tricky corner. How many times did you guys throw dirt up off of 6B because they're off the racetrack over there? A lot. And then the whole stadium section there, those guys are within a half a car length of each other a lot through there, and they can dive and make passes on either side. And when guys are making passes, it brings the other guys up to them, which creates more racing. I really enjoyed this layout as well. The guys couldn't just get away from each other as much. Lots of opportunity for passing. And, man, a lot of opportunity for side-by-side racing, throughout the whole thing. And I really enjoyed that race as far as, how the guys, most of the time, it was pretty clean. Obviously, you have a few incidents. Turn 1 still invites a lot of invites people to make moves, which is entertaining. Sometimes your car's on the wrong side of it, but it's a good track. I really enjoyed it as well.
You mentioned track limits. That was something that
used to be a really big topic.
And it was only a topic at COTA, and it made me want to vomit. Well, this new configuration has dropped the amount of corners where they're regulating this or governing that to a minimum of 3, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like turn 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, 5. And so it was tolerable as a viewer.
I will say this, I don't know if you noticed this or not. They did put a little if you missed the corner and you broke the track limits.
Yeah, I saw that.
They put that runoff, which is way better than running the whole pit road.
100%. I don't know why they make you stop there, though. I mean, just driving the runoff is enough of a penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, what you gained from
You're still in trouble.
Being 1.5 feet or 2 foot too far on track limits.
Yeah.
Making you run that joker lane, you don't need to stop.
Yeah.
So I think that even that can even be refined even more. But
sure.
Your point is well taken, TJ. I love that they did that to keep so the cars don't have to go down pit road and lose.
You're so far behind.
So much. It's way too much of a penalty. So it's definitely more of a balanced penalty. But when they started talking about track limits years, over the past probably 4 or 5 years with COTA, I wanted them to ball up the idea of running at this racetrack and throw it in the trash can. And so, but now this past weekend, track limits and the conversation, it was still there, but it bothered me none because I could see as a viewer, all right, it's these 3 corners. I can and we got to watch the cars go through those 3 corners, and I'm like, okay, I believe, I know I don't love track limits, but I believe it's fair to ask the drivers to abide by track limits here, and here. All right. And so it wasn't, I felt like it wasn't asking me too much as a viewer to have to put up with something really annoying. It was no longer an annoying deal.
No, and
right?
NASCAR did a great job of regulating.
They did.
And there wasn't even that many of them.
And
there was a few here and there, but that's it.
They made, it became clear on Sunday during the Cup race, which I wanted to talk to you about. The turn 6, we saw teams cutting there, and and then the TV and the drivers and everybody seemed to realize, oh, they're not governing it. Are they not governing turn 6? So what is your opinion about turn 6? Did NASCAR make it clear that they were not going to have track limits in that corner before the race? No, it started in practice. In qualifying, you seen guys get further over there and further, and you're like, is that going to make it or not? And then you hear no penalty, so you're like, okay, well, we're going to try a little bit more next time. I'm watching SVG and a couple other drivers, and they were cutting that corner a lot early. I'm watching it without sound, and I was in a meeting, and so I'm watching this race at the same time, but I'm thinking he seems to know something the others don't. Yeah. I think everyone was kind of feeling it out as you went and waiting for somebody to get busted. My question is there was the information that they would not govern 6 out there before the race started, so that were there drivers that did homework and drivers that didn't? I don't think it was released anywhere that they weren't. To my knowledge, it wasn't publicly put out there saying we're not governing this. I mean, I never saw anything. What's your opinion about that, though? If they're going to say, okay, we're going to have track limits. Yeah, I would have liked to have known before because we could have used it earlier. Yeah. If you're going to by the end of the race, everybody's all the way over on the blue, like a whole car length away inside the curb. Yeah, and I mean, we pretty much figured out that it was 3, 4, and 5 that were the corners. How could you not figure that out before the race? I mean, we just waiting for somebody to get penalized for it. But why didn't somebody ask NASCAR which corners are the track limits governed? Yeah, I don't know. I guess just never crossed anybody's mind. I guess everyone was kind of feeling it out and just kind of waiting. Could you have done that? I probably could have reached out. Yeah. When you go to Mexico City, will you? It's just hard. It'd be more on the driver's part because no one can really see how far you're getting out there. Like I can't. But really can't you just go? The crew chiefs can go to NASCAR and say what turns have track limits. Yeah, I feel like it's a simple question. That's what I'm asking. Yeah. I got you, Dale. He's dancing. I agree and nod with you. He's a dancing around the bush. He won't. I think that somebody could have asked. Say it, TJ. Yes, you could have asked. I mean, sure. Are you going to ask what corners? I don't think we should have to ask. I should just think we should know before. TJ. All right. But I love what you think, but I want to know what you're going to do for Mexico. Yeah, I mean, if there's any corners, and I'm not sure. From what I remember of that racetrack, I don't know if there's any corners. Here's what I would do, TJ. I would call your buddy at NASCAR, and I would say, hey, man, are there any corners at Mexico that are going to have track limits? And see what he tells you. I mean, if he's like, I don't know yet, or probably not, or whatever, you would say, I would keep pressing for more details. Yeah. So you mentioned SVG knowing something.
Noah Gragson said he talked to Connor Zilisch, and on Saturday Connor didn't get hit, so he knew ahead of time. So I wonder if SVG had talked to Connor also and knew from Saturday that turn 6 was not track limits.
Yeah, it just felt like some people knew earlier.
Like AJ Allmendinger was shocked when he was told.
Yes. Yeah.
Denny said that they were sent photos from practice of like NASCAR let him know like if you're good or not, but never said like 6 was
corners.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like we listen to NASCAR as we're going through the race, and you hear cars get busted for corners, and there was never, all right, post the turn 6 penalty. There was never a 6. So you're like, okay, so
they would just say track limits exceeded and not be like
they would tell you the corner.
They would.
Oh yeah, the corner. Yeah, cutting turn 4.
And don't they show you photos
5.
too?
I didn't ask for. I mean, they don't. I'm sure you can get them.
Yeah.
They got to have them if you're going to bust somebody. But
I wasn't annoyed by it. I'm just, I know we're having a conversation about it, and we're acting like we're annoyed by it. But honestly, I think
it made the racing better.
The track limits are fine. They're necessary at the 3 corners where they govern it. I'm glad NASCAR had enough self-awareness to go, you know what? We don't need to damn govern it at 6. We really don't.
They did a really good job.
Yeah, you got the grass over there that's going to keep them pretty much, for the most part on the racetrack.
Yeah.
And on the right-hand side as you're entering 6A. And
you found out you can get too far over there.
You can, yeah. But I didn't think if it affected the ability to make a pass there, or if it took away a passing opportunity, I think they'd have to do something. And but it didn't.
If anything, it opened up the door more.
Right. It still was a pretty cool dynamic part of the racetrack, even though the drivers were taking advantage of the limits. So
yeah.
But anyways, good on NASCAR. Hey, good course design, good changes to make it more entertaining. I like the limits and the lack of limits in terms of track. Limits in turns 3, 4, and 5, and not in 6.
Restart zone seems to be well placed.
I reckon
because there's still some diving in the one, but it's not the whole field.
Yeah.
So from probably about row
they moved it
7 or 8 on back.
Did they move it?
Yeah, it's like down right towards the exit of the corner.
Gotcha.
So you still have a little bit of straightaway, but it's right off the exit. So only the first handful of rows get a really good jump. You know what I mean? So,
well, let's talk about the Xfinity race. Connor Zilisch gets the win for Junior Motorsports, but not without
super fast.
Yeah, super fast. Not without upsetting a few people, namely his own teammates. I talked to Connor after the race, and I said, I trust you'll clean that up. He felt pretty bad about how that all went down. We had the beer toast here the other day. Of course, he did not have beer, but we had the beer toast here yesterday.
The apple juice toast.
And he's young. He's navigating the missteps and things.
These are good problems for him to have.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's a talented kid, gonna have a bright future, and learning how to be a better teammate. That's just part of it. He's going to have teammates all his life. I really didn't know what even being a good teammate meant, or that it was even a necessity or even important, right, in the first half of my career. And, I was such good friends with Truex and Michael, but I never went out of my way to say, hey, I see you're struggling with this, man. This is what we did. Or here's my notes from the race, if any of that might help you.
Yeah.
Didn't do any of that back then. So, and you learn over the course of your career, I think, to be a good teammate and try to help your teammates when you can, because that's going to come around and help you. Their crew chiefs see it. Their crew chiefs then want to help you. And, anyways, that's something that Connor has to improve on, and we've dealt with that in the past. And I'm sure, listen, the shoe will be on the other foot. There'll be a race somewhere else where another, it'll be another teammate, and Connor will be on the bad end of something going down on the racetrack, and that conversation is never ending. And I've always said this too: if you got 4. In this case, 5 cars that are very good cars, and 5 very capable race car drivers.
They're going to hit.
They're going to hit. They're going to run up front, and they're going to have to battle each other for positions, and they're going to have to battle each other hard. But we talk about it. I talked about it in the. This is the way I'll close. I'll close the Xfinity race. We have a kickoff. We have a kickoff luncheon for our whole company at the beginning of every year. And my main message to everyone was, let's try to do a better job this year of being good teammates. And I'm going to be paying attention to that. I'll be, we've had some great driver lineups here in the past, but we always haven't been the best of teammates. And we're very selfish a lot of times, everybody out there trying to, you got Justin Allgaier, who's a career Xfinity Series junior motorsports racer.
Champion.
Right? Yeah. Right now, but this guy's living his life and making a living as a full-time driver here. Then you got guys that are like, hey, I'm only here for a year. If everything goes well, I'm only here for 2 years. This isn't where I'm going to live.
Yeah.
And so they're thinking, they're not sitting there thinking like, yeah, me and Justin, we're going to work together for the next 10 years. I got to be his best teammate. They're like, how do I get to the next step? Doesn't matter what collateral damage there is, right? And so we've dealt with that over the last decade or more, where, guys are just out there trying to do their best and not necessarily having a teammate mindset, right? Because it doesn't feel like they're going to be here for that long anyways. But, it's a I don't want to say it's a good problem to have, but it
is a good problem. It means they're all up there competing.
Yeah, it's what's gonna happen.
Yes,
and it's much easier going in and apologizing when you win too, instead of doing something dumb and getting a fifth place.
That's the thing. I'm like, dude, you got this. So that's another tough part. Is guy just won the race. How the hell do you ever? How do you complain about anything? The guy just won the race in your car. What the hell you got to complain about? Right? Nothing. Right? But hey, come on. Let's
TJ, what was your perspective?
I gotta go talk to the other guys. They're pissed, right? The other teammates, the other crew chiefs.
I agree. I've been spotting for cars when we've had things go really bad before, whenever everything was lined up, and like Daytona a few years ago, we really kind of messed that up pretty bad, and that ended up being
embarrassing.
Yes.
So embarrassing.
And we all learned from that.
We didn't.
Well, for the most part,
learn from it.
I think, like what he said, like at the beginning of the year, you talk to him and you try to explain to be a good teammate, and you don't want to. The worst case scenario is go in there 3 wide into one and clean out 2 of your cars or something, and both 2 flat tires, and Austin Hill drives by everyone and goes and wins the race, and you want to really prevent situations like that, and Connor might have, you can understand making the move, but you got to make the move kind of stick and not use people up, in my opinion, as much, especially multiple times in a race. I think Connor had 2 incidents with teammates and 1 with another competitor that he spun out. So, and Connor, in my opinion, probably could have settled in 2nd or 3rd or 4th out of that corner and still won the race because he was just that fast and that good. But he'll learn, and these are learning experiences for him, and these are thankfully, it didn't take any other cars out at that point, and everybody rolled on, and I don't think we all got the finishes we wanted, but a lot of speed.
Yeah. The Cup race was absolutely eventful from the drop of the green flag, obviously going up into turn 1.
A lot of action.
Ross Chastain dives to the inside, cleans out the 9. A lot of other cars beating and banging through that corner and getting spun around and damaged. Chase talked about how that affected the handling on his car, and they had to work on the left rear a little bit to try to get it improved, but it never drove quite as well as it did the day before in practice and qualifying. And so he did work his way back up through the field and get a reasonable finish. One of the things that I thought was, obviously Ross, so that happens, and I'm thinking in my mind, man, if they ever get around each other, we better get a camera on there, because you heard the radio comments from Alan Chase's crew chief.
Not happy.
Basically, was like, "Hey, you given the opportunity, you better take care of it." And Chase is like, "All right, that's all I needed to know. I want to go take him out, but I didn't want to do it unless it was definitely necessary." And so I'm sitting there going, "All right, well, I guess if he gets around him, he's not just going to drive past him.
He's going to make life hard."
Yeah. Well, I figured he'd just dump him.
Yeah.
But so we get that opportunity later in the race, and Ross saw the 9. So the 9 catches SVG and sends him up the racetrack in turn 1 and 2, and he's like, "All right, there's Ross. Ross is right there in front of me." And as soon as Ross saw it, Ross was probably getting some warnings.
They told him that he's coming.
Yeah.
They said let him go.
I know, but Ross is I'm saying laps before.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
probably like, "Hey, man, the 9's back there.
He
Keep
knew
an
for
eye."
sure.
Right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like Ross looked up in the mirror and went, "Oh, I'm pulling over." Like, he was probably thinking, he had laps of warnings and comments to think, what am I going to do? What are my options? And Ross says, coming out of turn 1, "You know what? I'm going to let him go. To hell with optics. I don't care what it looks like, but I'd rather finish 9th, 10th, or wherever I'm going to back up to than get turned around and be backwards and finish 28th or 30th or whatever last place was on the lead lap." So Ross chose the better finishing position.
12th.
He chose that. And took and knowing the optics, right? Because it looks it looks a little.
You look like a dumbass.
Looks not a dumbass.
I think it looks like a dumbass. Looks like a little bit of a wuss. I don't know.
Looks a little chicken.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But does that fix it?
No, but Ross is like, "Hey, I don't want to get spun out because I'm gonna finish last on the lead lap. I'm gonna pull over and get a finish here today." And he didn't care what the optics looked like. He didn't care if it looked like he was being a wuss about it. And then after the race, I guess he didn't have a comment. They asked him
Decline to comment.
Decline comment.
I don't like that either.
I think you got a comment.
I do too.
Yeah. I mean, what? There's no harm in it. I mean, I guess you could say, "That man messed up. I went down in the corner and my shallow entry.
I got loose."
Yeah, just he was way offline and dirty racetrack down there on the inside and made a mistake. Lap 1, I should know better. He could have said all that. He could have said anything, and that would have probably been better than a no comment. No comment is just not. No comment is just probably not ever the best option.
Especially
that makes people talk about it more.
Is there ever a time where you're like, you know what, the guy should have probably said no comment in a post race?
no.
Right? Yeah.
You can always say something.
Something, yeah. And so, especially like Ross, Busch Beer, I mean,
Ross is usually pretty good in his interviews too.
Yeah.
And this is coming off the heels of you talking to Carson Hocevar about how he raced, and then you
Yeah.
go and do something dumb.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
I wouldn't have pulled over. I let Chase catch me, and if he bumps me into the corner and sends me up the track, it's justified. Even
What's
if
that?
If it's me, if I'm Ross, I let Chase race me, and if he spins me out, he spins me out, because at that point, if it's not even now, when Chase catches Ross again next week, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, is it worse?
Well, he's hoping that he can diffuse it by then. Ross is hoping that he can diffuse it before there's real, before he has to pay a price on the racetrack like Chase had to pay. You could say, well, Chase got back to the top 5, but he might have had a chance to win that race or race for the win had he not gotten spun out on that first corner. So, Chase is very good at COTA. But, yeah, I think I don't know. I mean,
Chase might not even have wrecked him.
Of course, I'd rather Ross not had pulled over. I wanted to be freaking entertained. And Ross pulling over basically took away my chance as a viewer to be entertained. So I didn't love it because of, in that aspect.
That's not the Ross that we know either.
And he ain't been the Ross that we know
ever
for
since
a long time. And you'll see Darlington. I don't know.
Pissed off HMS.
Ross didn't move over at Gateway. Ross didn't move over at Pocono. And, I mean.
Well, that was, I don't know. I mean, he's, yeah.
Is it worth on the radio than threatening to wreck a driver? Because if they get the message, they might treat you like that.
Sorry?
Chase, after that incident, they're talking about wrecking him, and so the one team heard it, and then they let him go. So is it worth on the radio?
Should he not have threatened it?
No, I'm saying, is it smart to threaten a driver on the radio knowing that they might then be scared and move us away from you and let you go?
I think Ross already knew the consequences before anybody told him.
Perfect scenario is the driver says nothing and the crew chief tells the driver, instructs him to do something, right? Or we know that spotters aren't supposed to do that, so they probably shouldn't. But I liked what Alan said because it meant Chase didn't have to say it. So a driver...
Here's what Alan said. I'm over people like that constantly doing dumb, so when we get a chance to send them, we're sending the one car.
Yeah. That I'd rather the crew chief say it, because if the driver says it, then NASCAR can react if something actually goes down. Just like a driver, a driver can't admit or preemptively say he's going to wreck somebody or spin himself out on purpose. We've seen that in the past. You can't admit to ever spinning yourself out on purpose to draw yellow or stopping on the track on purpose to draw yellow. You can't admit guilt in that scenario. And that, for Alan, I think Chase the kind of guy that if Alan doesn't say anything, if Chase catches him, Chase is probably going to race the out of him, pass him, right?
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And in Chase's mind, he's like, well, I showed his ass. I just passed him. I showed him, either Chase might think, I showed him that you don't got to rough people up or wreck them. I showed him how to pass somebody because you don't know how to pass people. Chase is going to think the way to get this guy back is to freaking pass him, and beat him in the race.
Look, I already caught you, and now I'm passing you again. Yeah.
Alan's like, hey, I think Alan's more like knowing Chase. Alan's kind of like, look, I know Chase's thought process here.
I need another level.
I need another level. So, Chase, not today, buddy. This is what I need from you. And Chase is like, all right, got it. And so, that's kind of what I think Alan was doing at that moment. He's like, I know what you're probably thinking, Chase, and I need you to step it up a little bit, be a little more.
Yeah.
Pissed off about.
That's the crew chief knowing the driver as well.
I don't know about Chase. Doesn't need to be more pissed off because he gets pissed off pretty good, but Chase won't do it dirty. He won't.
Probably not anymore.
Chase is not the he did right hook, didn't he?
Yeah, he's probably not going to do that
I'll
again.
take that back. But speaking of right hooks, we had
another one.
Had another one in the race. What do y'all think about that?
Austin Cindric, Ty Dillon for those people that aren't.
Yeah, I don't know how the tone, the bar's been set for this, so I'm interested in seeing how this plays out.
If it happens in the back of the pack, does NASCAR turn a blind eye?
Yeah, or I don't know.
I mean, dude, if that's the racing for the lead, absolutely they can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it wherever. If it's on the track, it doesn't matter where you're at.
I mean, that guy's race still matters.
I'm just saying what. I'm not saying what's right or I'm not asking y'all.
I know what you're saying. Is it right up here or right back here?
No. I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, does NASCAR react to this one?
I think so.
You think so?
I do. I mean, a right hook's a right hook. Yeah. Doesn't matter where it's at on the track, what position you're running in, or a right hook's a right hook.
The speed of that they're on a road course and not going as fast as...
If you'd move multiple lanes to hit a guy.
We've heard them say, though, that's true. That's a good point, Travis. We have heard them say that the severity of the crash sort of plays into their reaction, right?
That's one thing I think shouldn't, is just because the wreck didn't happen, like...
If there's intent to
I'm just trying to guess.
So what do you think NASCAR will do?
That's what
I'm asking you though. People don't want my opinion on. They want yours.
I'm trying to get my opinion based off of yours. Jeez, man. I think they have to. I think they will. I like Austin Cindric.
I know.
It's a big punishment too if they suspend him.
Austin, I got to hang out with him over the offseason at Blaney's wedding, and man, he is so funny.
yeah.
And he's a good dude.
Is he? My perception of him, just from on TV, is he's like a bit of like a oddball, kind of goofy. Is he like that in person, or what's he like?
He's not oddball goofy. He's actually
very
like
smart. Very
smart, clever, funny.
Yeah. Way smarter than what you're probably like. He's very clever, witty.
Yeah.
On things.
I always looked at him and thought, he's book smart, awkward, but probably harmless and probably cool to hang out with. Whatever. We go and hung out at the Blaney deal, and he is book smart, but he's actually pretty clever about self-aware. He's what's going on around him in the room, and he can see things going on in the room and make a snide remark or a witty comment about what he's seeing, and you're like, that's hilarious because I see that too. And
he is pretty funny.
Yeah, and I got to give him credit, man.
Yeah.
And he hung in there, partied. Hell yeah,
that's important.
I've never seen him do that, but I've never hung out with him like that.
I mean, we're still going at 1, 2 in the morning, and here he's right there with us.
Good.
I would never have guessed that one.
Right.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, he was in good form. He was, calm and being respectful about his level of partying, but he was there, and he wanted to be there, and I just really, my appreciation for him and all that went way up. We were with him last year, calling him Blippy and all that when he started wearing the glasses, like I got room to talk, but
he's actually really funny.
He's funny, and you know what? In those moments when we've given him a hard time, like he spun out at Nashville Super Speedway last year, and we were like, Austin, you couldn't finish 2 more laps yet. Ruined the race for everybody. Remember all that Kyle Busch up in the wall and all that at the end of the race? Yeah. We're like, that's your fault, Austin. He had fun with it. He's like, hey, was that a flat tire? He's got sense of humor, and he can take it. He
does, yeah. So,
I hope NASCAR doesn't come down too hard on him.
I don't think this is a like you said, the severity of this is pretty low, but there's still intent there, and we can't really have that. So.
Is it maybe fine-worthy but not a suspension?
We'll see, man. I think NASCAR is in a situation where they'll have to handle it somehow, some way. And Austin, I mean, honestly, if I'm sitting here talking to him, if he's at this table, I'd be like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah, you got to be smart. And normally he is. Yeah. He's normally
I know, but
I'd
be like
very smart.
I'd be like, look, we're gonna sit here, we're gonna hold Hocevar's feet to the fire, right?
Yeah.
And tell everybody that, he needs to, clean up his You can't that's Austin, who's been in the series for quite
3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years now. Yeah. He's got to set the example for these guys.
So if you guys both agree it's a right hook, why are you hoping that it's not a severe punishment when a right hook has been?
We don't want it to be a severe punishment because we like Austin.
And I don't think it was like a dog leg scenario like Charlotte. Like that was bad. That there's always opportunity. This is on a straightaway right off a corner exit, a big wide straightaway. I'm sure the 10 car probably thinks it was really severe, but Yeah,
I'm not gonna debate the severity of the speed, space, part of the track, whatever. I think it's all bad because we always say, like, cars will crash and hit anything. Don't think a car can't end up here because it will. So I'm never gonna go, well, that wasn't that bad of a deal, or that was in a very non-dangerous area of the track, because that doesn't exist. Every part of the track is potentially dangerous, right? And that when he gets turned, he could get hit in the door wide open by somebody not paying attention. Somebody coming.
They were like all the way in the back, but still.
I know, but there could have been a guy long way.
It could have happened.
Yeah, And so, I won't debate that type of stuff. But I would, if I was NASCAR, I would have to probably say, if I was NASCAR, and I've done this, and NASCAR's done this to me. They'll sit you down. They'll go, "We like you, and we don't want to do this, but we have to." There's been like when I said I got a call from Hilton. He's like, "Dude, with the world the way it is now, because they had that thing with the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson and all that, and Johnny Sauter said the word on TV the week before, and they penalized him. He's like, I can't not do it because there's this, and I can't not do it.
Yeah, the bar's been set.
And dude, me and Hilton are tight, and he's like, you're getting a penalty, okay? Here, that's what it's going to be. And so I think that's what they'll do with Austin.
Yeah.
I think had they not made this new rule change with the playoff points being taken away, I think it'd be easier for them to spin him now. I'm curious if they're like, crap, this isn't that severe of a right hook and the punishment is a very severe one. Maybe we'll just fine him heavily. Because if he gets suspended, any playoff points he gets in the regular season get wiped away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here we are. Yeah. Great point.
We'll know.
Travis, we were debating about that, the waiver and all that nonsense. And here we are in a moment where we could learn, how this all works out. So anyways.
We're going to learn from this one way or another.
We're going to learn from this, man. Let's see. Oh, another thing. Good job, Goodyear. I thought the Goodyear tire was fantastic. We had a tire that kind of gave up. Some guys.
You could hurt them.
God dang. That makes the racing so much better.
Yep.
2 weeks in a row. Atlanta, COTA. Fine job industry-wide. Really happy.
Yep.
What'd you make of the ending?
Just a couple. Well, okay, so Kyle Busch trying to get a win. He had to battle SVG there for a while.
Race, great battle.
Dude, I was so surprised at SVG's car and how it just sort of failed him.
How does that happen?
I have no idea.
On the restarts is where it really failed him.
It did, but then in stage 3, they just sucked all around. Like, he had no speed. He didn't, drive back. He lost, he was bad on new tires. I don't know whether they were on air pressure or whatever, but he could not go. But in stage 3, usually he was able to rebound, right? In stage 3, he wasn't.
He faded.
Faded and faded and faded.
Yep.
I think he said that last set of tires he didn't like.
Yeah.
Which can happen as well. And I noticed that throughout the race. Some cars got better later in the race, and I don't know if that was maybe the track conditions changing a little bit, and the sun was kind of setting some, and maybe some cars got better.
Yep. Anyways, back to the finish. I loved the fact that we had those moments in the race where the leader, Kyle Busch, in most instances was being tested and challenged. And then late in the race, I'll be honest, we were watching the 20 car stay out, and I'm thinking, man, how much time are they losing before they came down pit road for their last set of tires? I'm like, how much time are they losing? They got to be losing too much time to be able to make this back up. And when he gets back out on the racetrack, he's 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 9 tenths. He's way faster than Kyle Busch. He's definitely going to run him down. I was a little bit surprised by that. He was going to get to Kyle Busch and be able to, and have the newer tires. The question was, would that equalize? Would the tires equalize in terms of how they were falling off? Or because Kyle was going to push his car a long ways on tires, would his car just drop off a cliff in lap time and fall off, which it did ultimately. So, that was the difference maker. And we saw, we saw a lot of people get up into the battle at the end of this race that I never would have guessed would have driven up in there. Byron and Reddick, and we got a 4-car battle for the win.
Yeah,
there.
Next thing you know, it's 4 cars racing for
It was wild.
exciting.
And they did a good job of not
Wrecking each
on each other, right? And each other over. So quality racing made me a very proud fan of not only the sport, but our drivers and their abilities and their talent. And I was pumped. I can't wait to to talk to our winner. I guess we're going to have him
It was nice to see a race
call
that
in here in a
good.
bit. Christopher Bell coming off 2 in a row.
2 in a row.
Sure.
Yeah.
These two racetracks, the two racetracks and the style of racing couldn't be any different
Yeah,
than Atlanta
way different.
and COTA.
He's actually gotten really sneaky good at road courses.
Yeah.
So
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. So even if you miss the first few minutes of the game or you want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can make your picks from the first whistle until the final buzzer. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join. New FanDuel customers get started off with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Me and my friends have been having a lot of fun putting some parlays together and just betting a little bit to make the games a lot more fun to follow along. So just visit FanDuel.com/Dale Jr. to join today. That's FanDuel.com/Dale Jr. for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. I don't know if Mike's going to let you play online Xbox during work.
What if I come in after work?
Yeah, 5 o'clock hits, man.
Whatever,
It's Xbox time.
whatever.
lunch break.
I didn't know there was an Xbox coming.
Jesus. All right. First off, let's say
it's
hello
here.
to everybody
that's
out
cool.
there in the real world.
Because this is a simulation in here.
Yeah. We're just chattering away, running our mouths. This is the Ask Junior portion of the show, and thank y'all for tuning in to that. Want to thank Xfinity for being a great partner here. The Ask Junior portion is presented by Xfinity today, as you see right there. Nice little mobile, Xfinity mobile. Nice little graphic there, guys. I'm watching.
As long as we have Xfinity upstairs,
I'm
we're
watching
good.
the chat. TJ's here, and we've got some great questions. Andrew has come into the studio. Travis, we've been talking about COTA. We've been talking about right hooks and all kinds of stuff.
Everything. Wins.
The Cars Tour, everything else going on in the world. But hopefully we got some great questions today.
Yes, Todd Bob on the YouTube chat is
Bob?
asking, is this live or pre-recorded? And Todd, we're happy to tell you that this is live. So,
Todd Bob?
Todd Bob is his name.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a cool
He's
name.
got two
It's his
first
actual
names.
Name. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got 2 first names. This first one's from Kevin. He saw your tweet, or I think it was over the weekend, about the Panini cards that you would just write random things on there. And he wants to know what's the most random thing you remember writing, or what were some of the things that you would write on some of these cards?
I'd have shared that in the tweet, but because I would have just told the whole story there. But I'll be sitting there, and Nicole does this now. They come climb in my lap. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I'm signing these cards, and I got all this stuff laid everywhere, and I'm signing cards, and Nicole climbs in my lap, and she's like, I want to color. And I'm like, well, I'm not coloring. I'm signing my name. Why? Why are you signing your name? Well, I got 'em, these cards are going to go. And so, well, I won't do it. That's what she'll say. Well, I want to do it. And Allie used to do that too. And I'll be like, all right, here, write your name. And they'll write their name on a card and draw and doodle and color. And I'm like, all right, you're good. You did one. And I'll sign my name on it and throw it in the pack. And I've always wondered, like, I wonder what Panini does when they get them. Because I know when some are ruined or smudged, they'll
just throw them out.
Throw them out, or they'll send me another one and say, hey, we need you to do 5 because 5 were messed up. And but some of these are like, so the Panini pack will come and say they got a card, right? Some kind of specific style of card, and there'll be the bronze version, the silver version, and then there'll be like 1 gold, and that's like a 1 of 1. And so it's pretty neat. And I think card collecting is kind of like die cast. It cycles. It has its moments, its eras. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it feels like die casts and card collecting and just memorabilia in general feels like it's fun again. I don't know, but
I've been collecting cards a little bit lately again.
have you? Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
I've heard that from
Football, baseball.
I've heard that from a few different people.
Yeah.
But I've got some old stuff from way back in the day. early '80s baseball and football.
Cards?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to compare them here soon.
Where do you keep them? Like in a booklet? You don't have
the ones that I've been getting.
That's how I did it.
I have some stuff. Some of my best cards are in books, but
I never had the hard cases on
you'll
my
have
own
like
stuff.
the whole if you got like a full set, like I got an '81 Donruss or something like that. You got that in a box, a sleeve,
Okay.
cardboard box.
I went back home and I was cleaning some stuff out. I have a lot of starting lineups. Did you ever collect those?
The stand-up guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Little
football
figurines.
players.
I remember them.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
boxes of those.
I got a lot of stuff like that.
That's some old stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got what? I mean, yeah.
Roberto
DJ's got
Clemente and
early '70s and late '70s stuff.
I got a Bo Jackson Topps baseball card I'll start on today.
I had a lot of I was getting into baseball cards probably in the early '90s, and a lot of the popular stuff that people were messing with was like the '83 Topps. '83 Topps was a pretty good year.
yeah.
There was a Bo Jackson there. I think it was his rookie card, but
You'd have the back memorized.
yeah, no,
No?
not really.
TJ,
But-
did you ever do that? Or
No, I don't
Memorize
memorize
the
the
back?
backs.
like their
yeah.
stats and stuff?
No,
Like
it wasn't that-
those.
it wasn't that
I got
much into it.
those.
You wouldn't.
Okay.
You'd do that.
Yeah.
You'd memorize just random
Weird.
stuff.
Like you know
Yeah.
like what they averaged
This is
that
what
year?
they did that
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I was
It'll be
really
outdated soon.
when I was probably 12, 10, I probably did some of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying like as an
Nerds.
adult.
Yeah.
Nerds.
I did a little bit of that.
Go upstairs. To
Have,
the nerd
Hey, Dale, go
word
put
room.
on your nameless football jersey.
Yeah.
What's the most recent card you've bought? Anything?
No.
Anything current players? Like you're gonna get some Commander stuff now that they're
Oh, Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
yeah.
No. I don't know,
Jaden
man. I mean,
Daniels, you want to get one of them?
I was talking to Landon Huffman. Landon Huffman, late model stock guy. He's in the card trade business now. So he's like going to these shows and selling and buying, and like he was telling me that he, right now Christian McCaffrey's a good buy because he had such a bad year. So if
Yeah.
he comes back and has a really great year, you buy the cards low and then you sell them high. And so I'm like, whoa, yeah,
That's hustling.
that's hustling.
that. I don't know if I have the patience.
I want to
for
buy a
that.
Josh Allen card, but I don't know.
There was tying it back to the Panini. There was one person who quoted your tweet. I don't know if you saw it. It was you and Danica,
Yeah,
and
the
she
card.
didn't sign it,
Yeah.
and you wrote she missed it.
Yeah. It was a sleeve of cards, and you sign them all, and somehow or another she missed one. So,
You
There
didn't.
she.
huh?
You didn't miss it though.
I try not to. I don't.
We have in the YouTube chat someone is watching from Singapore.
Whoa.
Very, damn.
I don't
cool.
know what time it is in Singapore, but
What time is it?
I respect the hustle.
Gotta be.
Ask Siri.
Your phone knows.
Yeah.
Singapore would be a cool place. Hit the
It
bucket
is
list.
11 p.m.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Late
Not
night
too- yeah,
watching
not-
from
yeah.
Singapore. We
Just like
appreciate it.
When we were in Australia, it'd
Robert
be
is his
other,
name.
like a half a day later somewhere else over here. Remember that?
Yep. Next question, sir.
Next question.
Yeah.
All right. This next question is from Katie. She wants to know how is the production day? I think he was at Charlotte Motor Speedway with
Oh,
Brian.
with Steve?
Yeah, and Chase was there too, was he?
He was there a couple days before me.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was supposed to go work this production for Amazon. We're shooting commercials kind of to promote our little 5-race summer stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to go Wednesday and Thursday, but I was so sick. I've never...
Borderline like deadly.
I was sick. I get a traditional head cold or something once, twice a year, maybe a sore throat, just a standard old thing. And not, it's annoying as hell, especially sore throat. Nothing worse than that. But it's no big deal. I don't ever get the flu. I don't ever get fevers. I ain't ever in the bed.
What's your secret?
No, you can't. We can't say that anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's been 10 years since I've been so sick I crawled in bed for the day. It's been a long time. And so Nicole was really sick, and I was like, you're a little concerned as a parent, but most of the time they kind of weathered the storm and worked through it. But she got pretty quiet and like not wanting to walk or go or get up, wanting to lay.
Yeah.
Wanting you to carry her everywhere.
That's
and
scary.
so, yeah, we took her to the hospital Saturday.
Yeah.
And luckily everything's okay. Got her some meds, and she's fine. But I got whatever she had, and it knocked me on my ass, man. I had about 103.5 temperature.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was spiking to that. It was like 100 steady for 3 days. Could not kick it. And, I was in the bed. I was awful.
Just firing off bets.
So, I would have these moments where I feel good enough to text.
Yeah. I can lift a few fingers.
I was in such a bad shape at points it hurt to text.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How did you communicate?
I mean, it hurt to move. The whole body was in.
When your body
pain.
aches, it's the worst.
God. And so, I had to cancel the shoot, and I called Amazon, and I'm like, y'all, I'm bad, and I'm like, if you want me to come in and do this, I will. But I don't think you do. And everybody's like, stay home.
Yeah. Get away from me.
And so they worked Chase. He was booked on Thursday, so he came in and done his stuff. And then they moved me and Steve to Friday. And I think, so we knocked it out Friday. I was good by then.
Are you mentally prepared to call races?
We've been sitting in a room for the past 2 days watching. We watched COTA as a team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all of my Amazon, my producer, and our all of our folks, our Adam Alexander.
How's the flow?
Steve. We just sat there and we're like, yeah, that's cool. We like that. We like this. Thinking about this, thinking about that, just different things. And we did that Sunday, and then yesterday we sat in the same room and watched an old race that we did at Road Atlanta. And we're thinking we're kind of focusing on Mexico City and like how we're going to present that race and how we're going to do it.
Huh. Why? Just because it's going to be a big
new track.
All eyes on it.
Yep. Want to do a good job.
Oh, you Road America.
What did I say? Road Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah, Road America. So
okay.
Yeah, sorry. So we watched last year, probably 2022 or something.
Yes, that you did.
Yeah, we did at Road America. Yeah. And so we're prepping, we're getting ready.
Adam, man, he is a freaking workhorse.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to basically every race this year, right? Doing either Xfinity races,
and
then he'll be doing some
of the
Cup
Xfinity
races.
they do from a studio.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
But you guys will be traveling to all of them?
Oh, yeah. No
That's
way.
good.
Yeah.
You'd want to be.
Yeah, if I'm doing the job, I want to be at the track.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Let's see. Next question is from Twitter. Ryan wants to know, what's maybe your least appreciated victory, most forgotten one, like one where you kind of flew under the radar, where you're like, damn, like
that's a question for
win.
That's a question for the people that are watching. Like I don't have one that I least appreciate.
Any that like maybe you shouldn't have won, but you kind of snuck
God.
in, and
Well,
TJ,
I mean,
you might be able to help too.
Yeah, there's probably one. The first one I could think of is when it rained in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were gonna run second.
We were gonna run good in
Harvick.
that race still. Yeah.
Yeah, we were running.
Maybe
we
Carl.
were second to Harvick, and we cycled in front of him under a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, and then it
And
rained.
the caution came out, or the rain. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was. I remember it was something weird to do with pit road.
Harvick was faster. We were gonna run second. There was fuel mileage at Michigan in 2008.
Yeah.
So anytime you win in a fuel mileage kind of deal where you weren't the best car and you like it, you don't give a shit, you're going to victory lane. But you know that you're lucky.
Yeah.
More lucky than good.
I'd still take. We ran out of gas at Charlotte that one time. That was bad.
Yeah, that was a haunting.
Vegas.
That one haunts me.
Vegas
is bothersome, but I would have.
Charlotte.
Which one are you talking? Which Vegas are you talking about?
I don't remember.
If
Brad
we-
ended up winning
what
the
happened?
race.
We ran out of gas. Damn it!
Oh,
Off of turn
so
2.
Sorry.
Jesus.
Wow.
Well,
You really shouldn't.
Yeah.
TJ brought
Try
it
not
up.
to do that.
I would out of those two, I would rather have.
Charlotte. We're going.
Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about athletes is you always hear about the ones that they didn't get. They don't remember the wins as much.
Yeah, that's true. We're always. I think
Where
we're
do you
human.
Where do you sit
It ain't
there?
athletes. It's a human nature thing.
Do you sit on more of the ones that got away, or do you like remember the good moments?
I remember the good moments, more so than anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here right now trying to think of like a least appreciated win, but yeah.
I don't take them all.
Yeah.
TJ, this next question's for you. Jim wants to know just how is Brad doing? I know he had to go to the infield care center. I saw RFK put an update out that he's doing a lot better, but have you spoken to him this week?
Brad's good. Yeah, just a long day with these cars are super hot inside still, and when these guys' stuff fails, it's hard to keep them cool. And there's no real – the only break at COTA is down the front stretch for, 8 seconds maybe from the time you leave 20 to the turn 1, and the rest of the track you're working really hard. So tough day to have that, something malfunction like that. But, yeah, no, IVs, there's so many things you can do now to recover, and the medical team being there as quick as they were and getting fluids. But no, he's all good.
When did it happen during the race?
It was from before the pace laps.
Oh, really? And
Yeah.
he knew he was in for a long day.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, the broadcast, I don't think, touched on that.
Yeah, it was all
didn't-
day.
Yeah. Oh,
it was
man.
all day, yeah.
That's miserable.
Yeah, it was.
Dale, have you had anything like that? Or just after a race, just completely beat, had to go to the infield care center, just...
I will tell you, in the one time where I was toast after a race that I can remember is the IROC Michigan race.
Really?
I know, man. So
I want to pick that one.
I know it. So this is a 50 lap race.
Lap race, something like that.
And the only thing that I got out of the car, went to Victory Lane, saw Dad, and then I had to go to the infield care center immediately, and they gave me a couple bags of IV. I don't know if I'd been partying too much that week, but honestly,
played into it?
Odds are that it was a
no. Honestly,
What do you mean no?
well, because I partied all the time, and I never really had any problems. It was a 50-lap race.
Right.
And I ran.
especially in Michigan, long straightaways.
I know. I ran the Xfinity, and it was not a hard car to drive. I believe that since I was running behind Dad the whole race, and then I came down to this sort of last lap little shuffle where I almost beat him, and I really believe that I was holding my breath. Yeah. So drivers will hold their breath for qualifying runs.
You don't even realize it.
You don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And, yeah. So you'll you're hauling at. So you're driving a car. Let's say you're in Atlanta, where it's white knuckle, and you're excited. You're wanting to do it, but you're also at the same time fearful because you're going to have to drive this thing right to the edge of the limit.
And it's not easy.
No. And so you're going down the straightaway, right? And you're hanging on the steering wheel. And you start to turn off in the corner, and you might go, and you're holding your breath all the way through the corner. And you'll hold it down the back straightaway. You might breathe a little bit, but then you'll do the same. You'll keep doing that in corner after corner after corner. And I think that, that would happen quite a bit in qualifying. And you'd get across the finish line, and you'd be out of breath. Holy crap!
One lap killed me.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 300.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
You'd go, man, I've got to relax. In the race, you'd be fine because you just kind of would.
And the pace slows down too in the race. So.
But I would say that day I was probably holding my breath for a lot of the last few laps because we're getting inside 10 to go. The thing about it too is in the IROC car you don't have a radio, you don't have a spotter, you don't have anything. You're by yourself.
You're alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
so you're doing everything that you're getting. You're doing everything by yourself. And I'm trying to beat my dad, just me. I'm in this car with nobody giving me information, no crew chief, nothing. It's
Just trying to beat him straight up.
Yeah, and it's just a straight up battle. And I think for the last probably 10 laps, I wasn't breathing enough. I was probably breathing enough to stay alive. But,
oh my God.
And so
dude.
we get done, and I get out of the car, and I run over to Victory Lane, and adrenaline gets me there. And I wanted to see Dad and go, I wanted him to see me immediately and go, you almost had me, because I did. But he was like, yeah, good run today.
You're out here dying.
I know. But I'm like,
out of
what
breath,
do you
just
mean good run?
Yeah.
You almost whooped your ass. What do you mean?
Almost doesn't count.
I know. He's just like, oh, hey, good job. Good second. And I'm like.
That's so classic.
And so.
Did that piss you off?
Yes. And
Yeah.
it's so, but immediately.
Can you tell?
Immediately.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know.
Immediately after that, I'm like, oh, I feel a little dizzy. Oh, goodness. And so I go to the Infield Care Center and got a couple bags of IVs and was rocking and rolling. 30 minutes later, I was fine.
Those IVs will change. Like it's.
I've never had
instant.
one.
I drove a 10-lap race at a dirt track with Schrader, messing around the match race stuff or something silly. And I was so damn tired after 10 laps on a dirt track. I'm going to tell you right now, dirt track racing is serious, freaking seriously physical.
Yeah.
And that was another, I wasn't breathing. I was like, driving this dirt car, and I'm like, holy crap. Dirt racing is, I've wondered, man, I wonder why the dirt guys don't run like really long races. Dude, you can't. These short races they run is physically tough.
Yeah, especially like them outlaws and stuff.
Yeah.
That is game on.
Yeah.
From,
So,
Where do you feel it at in your body? Like, is it just everywhere, or is there certain spots where you feel it?
it's just your whole being.
yeah.
You're you're just
Yeah.
overall exhausted. I think now that you mentioned the holding the breath, isn't that like Noah Gragson would get sick after his Truck Series wins?
That's probably part of it.
Because of that.
Yeah. Because you get out of the car and adrenaline, and you've won. So your mind is saying, hell yeah, this is awesome. I'm excited. I'm happy. And all of a sudden, it's like all the blood just rushes to your feet. You just go like.
It just hits you like a truck.
Yeah, tingly and numb, and you
just know you're not feeling good.
Yeah.
Damn. Wow.
It's fast.
Yeah, that. I actually.
It's not a fun feeling. When he was sitting there throwing up, he was miserable.
Yeah.
Till it would finally calm down and he'd get his breath. And
even if you're not holding your breath, is that still common after every race to feel that adrenaline fall or
no, that's not common.
That's not common.
No.
It's only if you're really just tense and white knuckling it.
19 out of 20 races, you're gonna more than that. That would happen once a year, somewhere.
Yeah,
but no.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd be racing your ass off somewhere, and you weren't doing it. You weren't holding your breath.
I know there's drivers that struggle to fall asleep after races. Was that ever you? Like you're just
you're just excited and pumped up.
Yeah. The life of a race car driver. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Like that holding your breath even during qualifying was as much of a thing.
Well, some of them tracks were intense qualifying, man, where you're on the edge.
Qualifying at Atlanta. Qualifying at
Atlanta.
Qualifying at Atlanta, man, was always wild. And Texas. Texas. 2008 at Texas, you knew, all right, my car's good. I think I'm going to have to run. I know I'm going to have to run wide open in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I know it.
For a good lap.
To run a good lap, I'm going to have to. And so you go down in there and you're like, oh. You're like, oh. Something is going to happen where you're going to go, jump out of the gas a little bit.
But you can't.
And, I mean, you will and save the car, right? But you'll run 10th or 15th.
Mm-hmm. Even
you're
even
going
Bristol.
down. You're driving it down in there, full throttle, 8,000 RPMs, 180 miles an hour, maybe 185, and you're like, we're going to load this damn thing in the track, and it's going to lock in, and I'm going to stay in this throttle and just wrap this corner. But you don't know. It might not do that,
Yeah. I mean, even people hold their breath at Bristol qualifying because it used to be you're on edge there.
Oh, yeah.
And how long is that lap again, just time-wise?
28 seconds.
That's
at Texas?
Yeah.
Probably 26,
roughly.
28.
Yeah, same. Real close to Atlanta as well. But people hold their breath for qualifying for 2 laps in a row at Bristol. I mean,
it's
I
remember
there.
when Ryan Newman ran in the 14s at Bristol. The very
yeah.
first time anybody ran in the 14s.
And that 12.
Oh, my God. All of us were standing there in the infield watching him run that lap, and that damn car flew through the corner.
Yeah.
And they said 1492 or something. I was like, unbelievable. I mean, he already had the reputation as being the Rocket Man, but that was the moment where you're like, yep, you can't. It's not a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
He really did something that a lot of people didn't think was possible to run that kind of a lap.
Is there Charlotte, Atlanta, and Texas where he was just like, okay, let's go watch Newman get the pole?
Yeah.
Like,
they had something figured out.
That's wild.
They had something figured out in that car.
They did.
What was this crew chief? Matt
Borland? Yeah.
They had something going on, and it worked everywhere.
There was like big right rear springs or something back then. I don't remember what it was.
Qualifying like crazy.
That's fascinating. I want to give a shout out to, hold on, I wrote their name down, Blythe, and they're watching this at school right now. I think they're watching it in class. So
Who?
Blythe was their name?
What grade are we in?
I don't know.
We better watch
They're in the YouTube chat, but
better watch our mouth.
yeah.
Any cuss words.
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure what grade
I feel
this
like
is.
if you're watching S Junior at school, you have access to a computer, an iPad. You got to be old enough,
It's a
right?
good teacher.
School's different these days.
It is.
I used to, gosh, when there were rainouts and it was a Monday race, I remember having to sneak either like listening to the radio with some headphones or watching it on my phone or computer. I don't know.
I got
you guys
in trouble.
ever do that?
I got busted for it.
You did?
Yeah,
TJ?
social studies class. My teacher busted me listening to the duels.
Oh, my God.
I was listening to the duels.
Oh, my God. I
What?
don't know if I should share this live.
Oh?
Did you
Oh
get
my
busted?
gosh. No, I did in school.
Yeah.
So, listen, I'm going to tell it. So, dang, man, I can't believe this. So, you were asking me about that shoot. This will be the best thing we do today. We were
That Prime shoot.
that Prime shoot.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm at this Amazon Prime shoot Friday, and when I was, and this young guy walks up to me that's working on the shoot, and he goes, "Hey man, you went to school with my dad." I was like, "Really?" He goes, "I was like, what's his name? Because I probably it might ring a bell." He mentioned his dad's name, and I was like, "Yeah, can't say I can remember or even put a face with that." He goes, "Southview Christian School," and I was like, "Damn!" So I went to a lot of schools, right? And right around, I'm going to say this was 7th grade. At the very beginning of my 7th grade year, there's a Southview Christian School that's on the way to the Statesville Airport. I pass by this school twice a week at a minimum. I pass by it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Dad and Teresa sent me to that school with Kelly beginning my 7th grade year. And I had been going to another school in Statesville for a couple years, and that I don't know why that ended, but probably something I did. But Southview Christian School, I believe that's the name of it. So I drive by it all the time, and I only went there 6 months. But I remember, and I've said this to Amy, I'm like, that school in that 6-month period was my favorite experience as a kid in school, because every other school that I went to kind of had little groups. And
cliques.
you were part of this clique, and you weren't part of that. And this was the popular kids and the preps and the jocks and and everybody had their little space. And you just wanted to get in one, right?
Especially moving around from school to school, that has to be really tough.
Yep. So you just wanted to be in some group, right? And have your little group of friends that you saw every day and hung out with every day. Not in this school. In this school, there was probably, I don't know, it felt like there were about 18 to 25 of us in our class. Everybody felt like they had the exact same level of stature and as soon as I got in there, man, everybody was fun, friendly. We all goofed around and joked around and got in trouble and talked in class, and but it was like I was brought in and accepted immediately, and it was just a really great class.
Yeah. And
I remember where our classroom was up in the top of the gym, and I remember immediately connecting and making like 10, 12 friends right away and just having a great time. And I was going to get expelled because if you get
that just took a turn.
It was going really good, and I was having so much fun and making so many good friends like easily.
Yeah.
And I was probably trying too hard and being too much, acting out too much, talking in class. If you got rode up 8 times before the winter break, that was it. You'd have to leave. I get rode up just right before the break. It wouldn't process till we got back. My thought was I was going to be expelled when we returned from Christmas break.
You got your 8th ride up right before break.
And in my mind, I'm going on Christmas break. My parents have no idea that when I go back, I'm getting expelled. And so my gut is, I'm getting an ulcer worrying about this, right? Well, little did I know that they had already planned to send me to military school. So when I get home, they're already going through pamphlets for military school on the floor. And I'm kind of like, well, I can embrace this military school idea and not have to ever
tell them
get in trouble about getting expelled. They'll just pull me out. I'll go to military school, not expelled, no problem. Don't love military school. Don't love that idea.
But I wasn't expelled.
What is it? Yeah. Well, so I remember the last thing I got wrote up for was I was having a conversation with a guy in the chair behind me, and the teacher wrote me up. And I was like, gosh, this is so trivial, but this is number 8. I'm going to get kicked out. And he's like, I don't care. I was like, come on, man, this is going to expel me. This is such a small thing. I remember making a case for myself.
You fought it.
And but this gentleman, this young guy that I met at the shoot, he goes, yeah, my dad and you and 2 other guys. He named these 2 other kids. He's like, y'all hung out every day. Y'all were friends, and y'all spent a lot of time around each other. He's like, I was like, yeah, man. I was telling him the story about getting rode up and getting in trouble. And he's like, my dad told me one of the times that you got in big trouble, you brought a Playboy magazine to the classroom.
Now,
and I was like,
all right, there it is.
Jaw hit the floor. I was like,
no wonder you were so cool.
I was like, yeah, I don't remember that. And he's like, yep, that's what Dad said. Dad said you brought it to.
Who's on the cover?
Brad, he's like, you brought it to the classroom.
It was a
and
centerfold.
You whipped it out, and we're looking at it.
You whipped it out.
Whoa.
The Playboy?
Yes.
Okay.
Stop it.
Sorry.
So you pull the Playboy. I'm like, I can't believe that this is even possible.
Brought it for the reading material.
That I would do this in a Christian school.
I can't believe you forgot about this.
I can't believe it either.
No wonder you had all
I
that
don't
friends.
know. I think he's
What do you think the other 6 write-ups were for then? One was for talking to somebody. One was for a Playboy. What were the other 6?
I don't know. I believe
Smoking cigarettes.
I know. That's what I was saying, dude.
Jay, that's
Oh
no
my
wonder you had
gosh.
so many friends.
Chat, what do you think Dale got in trouble for? Give us the 6 reasons, chat.
Oh
Man.
my gosh.
I just can't believe that. I can't. I forgot what a wild menace I was.
When you said I was going to get expelled, I was like, man, what could you have done? Now it's fully understandable.
Yeah. So that's what I meant. Like things were going so well. I was having so much fun, and so I was trying too hard.
Sure.
And I knew Dad had that stash in his bathroom, and I'm like, man, I'll take one of them to class. I
was going to ask you, did you talk about it beforehand?
No, I'm like, my buddies are
bringing
gonna
it.
love this.
They did.
And so I'm assuming if it really did happen, that's what
What do you mean if it really did happen?
I
Like,
don't
do you
remember
believe
this.
you did this?
I
Yeah.
don't recall it.
Do you remember your dad's stash?
Yeah.
It happened.
It happened.
Kelly.
It definitely happened.
Yeah. So,
might just want to
Kelly
admit it.
says it might have happened. But I couldn't believe that, man. So I'm pretty sure that was not the 8th and final punishment.
That was probably like number 2.
That was probably in the middle
That was
somewhere.
4 through 8.
Yeah.
That counted as a bunch.
Every
more than
time we
one.
showed it to
I
another
really
student.
messed up. I really messed up.
So did they
I appreciate you owning up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they ever find out though that you were going to get expelled? So that they never found that out.
I don't believe so.
Well, that's good. That's a win.
Yeah. My my whole reason for like sharing this story and continuing the conversation with the young man at the photo shoot, well, I was like, hey, I bought some yearbooks from my dad's high school days because it's just cool to have an old yearbook from his 4th grade class, and there's Dad in his little 4th grade classroom. It's funny to see Dale Earnhardt dressed up as a little, 10-year-old school kid. And I found some of his yearbooks from his elementary school because he quit school in the 8th grade. But I found some of his yearbooks from like 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, and I bought them on eBay and kept them. And I've been looking for the yearbook for this school, Southview Christian Academy, from my 7th grade year, whenever that might have been.
Half of it?
I do know that Living on a Prayer had just came out.
Oh.
Like we were all singing that song up and down the road, going to school and back. So like Bon Jovi had just blown up with Living on a Prayer. I do remember that.
That's cool.
So hey, we had Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. We were taking Playboys to school.
I just realized
I was living on a prayer.
Time.
What a time
That
to
was
be
Dale's
alive.
motto.
God, I'm jealous.
brought a Playboy to a Christian school. Like, it's not just a regular school here
That's
either.
rock and roll right there.
Dude, you had to be the most popular kid.
What I want is to be able to get the yearbook from the school relatively around the time I was there. I left the school before we did class photos, so I'm not in it. But I do want to see my class.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I drive by this school twice a week at the minimum, and every day since I was a 7th grader, I've thought about this school and those kids in that class that I was with.
Wow.
And how great my experience was in a very brief time I was there. And I just want to see their faces because I know when I see them, I'll go, that was one of my friends. That was one of my friends. I remember those two. They were great.
And then do you ever what are they up to now? Like,
Of
where
course.
are they? Yeah.
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 Too bad you're not in the picture, though, because they'd be like, that's the guy that brought the Playboy.
Yeah. Dale took the picture.
I did reconnect with some. I got my yearbooks from my 10th, 11th, 12th grade senior high school days, and I did reach out and reconnect with some of those.
That's
folks,
awesome.
And I'm hey man, let's meet for lunch.
Wow.
You think you got in trouble for the Playboy in '86? You said.
Maybe.
Do you want the?
86 was when Living on a Prayer came out.
Okay, good. Yes.
Sherry Arnett could have been one of them. Julian McCullough.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Awesome.
Do you? All right. This is a serious question. When you said "Living on a Prayer" just came out, that was the anthem. When you hear that song, does that take you back to those days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Music's perfect.
Yeah.
At doing that.
That's what I think.
Every time I hear a song, it reminds me of a time when I heard it previously, if not the very first time I heard it. But
yeah. Well, I'm getting the rap signal. This was a lot of fun. I want to give a few shout outs in the YouTube chat because I've been keeping an eye on the chat. Leo, this is not Blythe, but Leo said he's watching from PE class right now. So shout out to him.
oh boy.
And then ITT Tom donated $10 to the stream, and he's like, Dale, tell the story. So that was the story we started about 10 minutes ago. So thank you for the donation.
Right on.
Sweet.
All right, everybody. We've been enjoying these Ask Junior segments. Let's see. We got 1,300 people in here, and appreciate everybody coming and seeing us today and being a part of our show. And thank you, Xfinity. NASCAR fans, now you get the speed you need on or off the track with Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Mobile customers now get exclusive access to Wi-Fi speeds up to 1 gig in millions of locations nationwide, and it's the nationwide coverage that will always come through in a clutch. Take NASCAR on the go with Xfinity Mobile. You know that feeling you get when you're watching drivers fight it out on the racetrack, giving it everything they've got for the checkered flag? Well, you can capture that feeling forever with cars from Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. The ultimate way to celebrate the biggest moments in racing. These diecasts aren't toys, they're authentic, high-quality replicas of your favorite rides from the sport's biggest stars, including myself and the guys on my race team. Whether you're a longtime collector or a fan who's new to the sport, Lionel Racing diecasts bring the heart of racing to your shelf or man cave with incredible detail. They're built with precision, with all the exact decals, logos, and paint schemes you've seen on the actual cars. And trust me, these cars make you feel like you're right there in the middle of it. So head to LionelRacing.com, your favorite racing team shop, or any authorized retailer, and start building your collection today. And don't forget, you can find a wide selection of die-casts at the Lionel stores in Concord Mills near Charlotte Motor Speedway and Opry Mills in Nashville. All right, so here we are on the Dale Jr. Download. We got this week's winner and last week's winner, Christopher Bell. Thank you, Christopher, for joining us today. I know you're busy. Back-to-back wins, man. I mean, this is the way you want to start the year.
It's hard to get much better than this, that's for sure.
So doing it at two different racetracks, two different completely unique styles of racing has to be something you're proud of. I think knowing you and I believe being you want to be a guy who's a master of a lot of different disciplines, and you're getting to run your dirt stuff again a lot more this year. But I'm sure you look up to guys like AJ Foyt and Andretti for their ability to jump in about anything and be incredible, like Tony Stewart and even Larson to an extent. So, is that kind of come into mind when you go out there and you win at Atlanta and then you go to COTA the next week and do the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely, Junior. As a driver coming up, I felt like the way that you separate yourself from the young guys coming up in the sport is being able to win across multiple disciplines. And I growing up dirt track racing and specifically open wheel racing, like I remember you had wing sprint car guys, non-wing sprint car guys, and they didn't really go back and forth. And, I was just like, I wanted to be able to be good in both of them and be able to win wing, be able to win non-wing, be able to go run a midget car or whatever. And that the NASCAR Cup Series, one thing that I love about the Cup Series is the schedule is so diverse and you have different styles of racing that are completely different than one another. You have the intermediates, the short tracks, which are kind of in one bucket. You have speedway racing, which is another one, and then road course racing as well. So the fact that I've been able to win in all of them is something that I take a lot of pride in.
So as you're battling late in the race, I kind of need to know, we were watching the broadcast and Harvick and those guys are doing such a great job trying to help us understand what your challenges were when you were behind the 8 car. You had an advantage on tires to an extent that was really big. Were you worried about that neutralizing itself at some point as you're following Kyle so closely? Is there a clock that's running in your head? Is there the hourglass, the sands in the hourglass? Not so much to the end of the race, but your car's ability, your ability to really kind of get around Kyle. Are you thinking that's something that's clicking away, that you need to get more and more urgency in you to get it done?
Honestly, I never really thought about my car deteriorating. I certainly, whenever we started stage 3, I had that a little bit where I was behind Kyle and pressuring him there for a while, and then he started to gap me a little bit. But then after the pit cycle happened and he pitted a couple laps before me, I felt like I had the upper hand as far as car speed and tire life. And I was just trying to be respectful of making my move on him. And I didn't want to get overzealous and push the issue too quickly. And COTA, it's shorter now, but it's still super, super long laps. And I remember Adam did a great job on the radio just saying, hey, man, there's plenty of time. There's still 8 laps left, 6 laps left. And I'm like, 8 laps, 6 lap at Bristol, you don't have much time. But at COTA, you got an eternity. And honestly, I felt a little bit more comfortable being, the chaser than I getting out front and having to defend. So I was just buying my time. I had a couple runs down the front straightaway where I felt like I could potentially outbrake him. I was able to outbrake a lot of other guys early in the race, and turn 1 was my preferred passing opportunity. But Kyle was the strongest car that I had gone up against as far as outbreaking them getting in the corner. He was pushing his entries so hard. We saw me have to bail out getting into 1 once because I was going to clean him out if I attempted to, get it in there. So, I wanted to make sure that I didn't rough him up. He was racing. He probably had the most hunger out of all of us with, being Kyle Busch, his winless streak he's on. I know he wanted to win really hard or really bad. and it was not going to be an easy pass by any stretch of the imagination.
So, speaking of road courses, you were in Mexico City last week with NASCAR?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing there?
We got to check out the racetrack there, and it was a phenomenal facility. I had never been to a road course that the venue, the amount, the size of it. Like, COTA is a world-class facility, but the grandstands at Mexico just put COTA, like it made COTA look like a middle schooler. Like, the place is set up to hold so many people, and that stadium section is just immaculate. Like, I can't imagine, having the race that we had at COTA at Mexico City, coming down to the closing laps in that stadium section with the place just packed out. Like, Bristol is the closest thing that we have to it, but having a road course with grandstands around there in that section of the track, I think it's going to be an amazing atmosphere.
Yeah, we were that's one of the Amazon Prime races, and we're starting to sort of prepare for how we're going to cover that race. Were you able to really look at the track enough to kind of be able to compare it to anything else, or what would you say that track may remind us like?
It's hard to not compare it to COTA. There are similar tendencies. There's no elevation change, so it's really flat. The whole course is. We got a little mixture of a super, super, super long front straightaway. Like, I imagine it's going to be top of fifth gear all the way to close to bottom of first gear. So massive amounts of decel getting into turn one. You have a little chicane there, and there's a mixture of good braking zones, really hard braking zones, and then you have a section of S's that lead into the stadium section as well. So no elevation, but you got a little bit of high-speed corners and slow-speed corners and plenty of opportunity to root and gouge.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask you before we let you go, and again, I want to appreciate your time here. You've gotten the green light to go back racing outside of the your regular responsibilities on your NASCAR Cup schedule. What does that mean for you? What does that mean in terms of your schedule? How much of that do you want to incorporate into what you're already doing?
Yeah, I'm just so incredibly thankful to have the opportunity to go run some sprint cars, some midget cars, and I really look forward to getting back on the dirt. It's been a lot of fun so far throughout the off season, and I'm gonna try and be really respectful and make sure that I don't take anything away from my responsibilities as a NASCAR Cup Series driver for the number 20 car at Joe Gibbs Racing. And I'm not going to be making a schedule. I'm not going to be making a schedule for races way out there, but I am committed to the Las Vegas high limit race. And I'll be picking and choosing some midweek stuff that doesn't interfere.
Some would say, based off of this year's performance, it's made a difference. Do you think that racing that way or in those type of cars does make you any different in any way for your Cup stuff?
Well, Junior, that we don't have, our sport is so unique because we don't have a lot of practice time, and even in practice you're not in racing situations where you're making split-second decisions. So just being able to race more has certainly it's made me feel more comfortable in my decision making and probably made me feel sharper. So I think the more you race, the better you get, and having those events during the off season certainly I think has made my decision making a little bit better whenever we got to Daytona and Atlanta, and now getting into the meat of the schedule. Everyone, the Cup Series drivers are too good to have an advantage over them for all the time, but certainly going into the early part of the year, I don't think it hurt me.
I have a quick question. How cool was it winning at Volusia earlier this year? That had to be pretty cool.
Oh, dude, Volusia, it's one of my favorite racetracks in the world, and it has one of the coolest trophies too. You get like a little gator, and
the gators.
I wanted one of those so bad whenever I was a full-time dirt track racer, and I finally got one. So that was freaking awesome.
Car was fast.
It drove amazing. Like driving sprint cars, it's so most sprint cars drive good whenever you show up, the track's wet, and the thing turns left. But the hard part whenever you go sprint car racing is whenever the track starts to dry out, you have to tighten the car up to have grip in the car. Well, whenever you start tightening it up, some cars stop turning left and they get really evil to drive because they don't want to turn left. You have to turn the car left, and then and then the wing catches the air and it starts sliding and you're still loose. But Don Kreitz is an amazing crew chief, and he did a great job of applying grip to the car. Whenever the track started to slick off, he was able to apply grip to the car without changing the balance, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was a great race too.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time, man. Thanks for giving us a few minutes today. Congratulations on the early success this year and in your quest to go out there and win a championship. It's going to be fun watching you this year, and hopefully we'll have you back on the show soon. Christopher, thank you. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
Man, that was a pretty cool insight on his dirt racing.
Yeah, I was watching that race earlier this year. It was cool to watch.
I think that him being able to share like how being behind the wheel of any car and any being able to race helps him be more confident, feel sharper, feel more mentally tuned up. Makes tons of sense.
I'm not gonna lie, when he first came in, I didn't peg him as being a road course guy, and he's gotten really good at it.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. Got a great race car. All right, it's time for Dirty Modo, and Tampa Tim's is here. This segment of Dirty Modo is brought to you by FanDuel. We're thankful for FanDuel and everything they do. And Tampa Tim's, I saw that you had a tweet during the race that made it sound like things weren't going as well for you. What was going on?
I posted a GIF of a guy just sitting on a pile of trash. So, because all my bets were trash.
Oh?
Yeah, I just bet, bad betting practices, basically. I got guys at their absolute high, and then so the value was all gone. It didn't work out. So, in this values,
had some scheduling conflicts, right? That weren't allowing you to bet except for live bets.
Yeah, I had some things come up, so it was really just live betting. But I bet them at the absolute worst time.
Should have just bailed on the day.
Should have just watched as a fan more. But it's okay. I bet Christopher Bell live, and that kind of stopped the bleeding, I would say.
Awesome. Well, so that saved your day. We head to Phoenix now this weekend. I know it's only Tuesday. But obviously you got to look at Penske.
Mm-hmm, of course.
Christopher Bell on his hot streak.
Yep.
Who else stands out? I think Byron
in the favorites category. Yeah, he's the third option. Chris Buescher, he's always overlooked. I think. I like the Fords.
He finished third there in the fall or somewhere, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean Penske.
His quietest third place finish ever.
I know, but that's good though in betting. I like when they're quiet.
I guess,
the books don't.
Good point.
The books don't have him on their radar.
2,200.
Yeah, I mean Chase Briscoe's another guy too. I think the books he's in a great equipment, but I like Briscoe at Phoenix too.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's a guy that have the odds caught. I mean, do they favor him the way as if, say, Truex was in that car?
Yeah, they're starting to.
Yeah.
But I think it really just depends if he qualifies well. I think if he doesn't qualify well, he goes back to where we've seen him typically. But if he qualifies well, it's like that. It's a JGR car.
All right. Well, what's the bets you're going to make today?
Well, I've got a question for you. Make your bets. What's your thoughts on Reddick?
I don't know. It's like hit or miss with Reddick for me.
Yeah.
It's either he's going to qualify up front, it's going to be good, or it's going to be a mediocre day. And I don't think the price for him dictates that kind of fluctuation.
What bet are you going to make?
For NASCAR today?
Yeah, for this weekend. Give me some bets to make.
Well, I think Chris Buescher at plus 2,600 to win is a good bet. Yeah. There's a guy also, if you want a real long shot, it's kind of like I don't think the price really matches what he is, Daniel Suarez. It's not really running that great, but his average finish at Phoenix is better than Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, and Chase Elliott, and they are miles ahead of him in the books.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're looking for a guy, a real long shot with some value, might be something.
At Phoenix.
At Phoenix, yeah.
Man, I don't know about none of that. I think you're sitting on trash bags again this week.
Might be, but.
Okay, Dale, obviously you can't bet anything, but who are some drivers that you would have your eyes on that you think are going to perform well?
Well, I mean, it's obvious to me you're looking at the statistics, you can go by the Penske cars look good to me, but Blaney is probably the only one out of that group I'd probably be willing to bet on. And I like the Toyotas. And I also think Chase Elliott and Larson to an extent. I feel like that the Penske dominance at Phoenix has to normalize at some point, right? And who is the ones that then rise to the top? I do like Briscoe. I think Briscoe is going to outperform his past history, right? And if the books are looking at him the way they always have, then that's a good value because I think he's the kind of guy that's going to go out there now that we're kind of going to some more traditional style, and he's got great success at Phoenix. Good track record at Phoenix. So Briscoe would be a bet I'd be willing to make.
My long shot would be Josh Berry.
Yeah, it's not a bad one too.
Why is that?
He's in a Penske style car. Good, it's not a short track, but it's close enough.
Yeah, they should have good speed, and I think Josh adapts well to a track like that. Yep.
That's not a bad call for it. Give you a top 10.
I think a top 10 Josh Berry bet's the way to go. He needs a good run too, so this is a good weekend to capitalize.
I'd do that. I'd make that top 10 bet for him. I'd do a Briscoe in the top 5, or if they let you do a top 3 bet, did they let you? Do that?
Yeah, of course. Probably good odds on that.
Yeah.
Long shot. Speaking of Noah last week.
Really good.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did run good.
Yep. And it's not like he lucked into his spot either. Like, that was just a good race.
No, he earned it. I mean, he missed turn 1 completely one time and still rebounded from that. And, I mean, a good run for him.
Yeah, so I think that's a good that'd be kind of some fun bets to make. I had a lot of success over the past week with NCAA basketball and lacrosse even.
Lacrosse?
Yeah, lacrosse. Lacrosse is cranking up.
Sorry, I failed you guys on my lacrosse parlay.
No, you're too aggressive.
What do you mean too aggressive?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you saying like my odds were too small? Like you like to go with the minus 500? Yeah.
I had a good night last night. So let's see: Duke, North Alabama, McNeese, Lipscomb, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Jackson State, Portland State, South Carolina State, Montana, Colorado State, and I got Colorado State and Arizona tonight.
Okay.
But I had all of those in one parlay, and Colorado State and Arizona tonight to finish it off.
It's not a bad one.
But I had 4 parlays win last night.
You're on a heater.
Oh, dude, you are getting...
Well, I'm not betting like you. It's hard to win when you bet like you win, or when you bet like you bet. But, when you win a lot.
And that's what you've been doing lately.
Well, I'm betting pretty even odds.
Hey, if you win, it doesn't matter.
That means it's supposed to hit.
He sings a different tune when we're live. When we're on.
What do you mean?
Than in the group chat.
Yeah. When we're talking in the hallway, you're like, yeah, what kind of bet is that?
I've tailed all of your bets. What are you talking about?
You're just trying to be nice.
What do you mean?
All right.
Do I not tell your bets?
You do.
I think there's some that are crazy.
You chuckle when you see them.
Yeah, of course I'm going to chuckle.
He always chuckles at him.
Why? What's funny? What's funny about this? Oh, is it funny?
Because you're like McNeese, and it's not. It's you notice how you pause. You're like
Lipscomb.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
There's a pause in Corpus Christi. No, that's one school.
Oh, I know it's one school.
No, but there was like a pause. Like you're making. No, it's Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
That's what I said.
I know, but it was like.
Oh.
I laugh when I see 16-leg parlay come through that thing. I'm like, oh my god.
When he sends those screenshots, like you got to scroll down and see all of them.
I got to open up my computer to get the full. Like on my phone, I got to scroll to see it.
Well,
I can't wait till the NCAA tournament comes around though.
That has to be fun. Couple weeks.
Yeah.
We need to do a parlay for every game on that Thursday, every game on that Friday.
We got conference tournaments coming up now. A couple weeks.
Yep. It's gonna be fun.
Get some player props going.
College sports is fun.
It is.
To bet on.
College basketball,
yeah,
I think would be pretty
I
good.
mean, I just like I just like stacking a bunch of legs of big time favorites into one parlay for even money. It's like
it's fun.
It's like 90% foolproof.
Yeah. I think
for folks listening, bet responsibly.
Yeah, but doing that brings the fun back into it.
Don't bet it. I'm a novice.
Well, we put some bet out a couple weeks ago, and someone's like, "I'm following it," and they put down a what I consider a substantial amount of money. We're like,
"Oh Lord!"
Like we're having fun with these bets, people. So don't.
Yeah, betting's for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't be put down. I think they put down like $100. We're like, no,
That's
we
too
did
much.
not say that.
That's too much. All right, Dirty Mo Doe, the segment's brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. We talked NASCAR today, which I can't bet, but me and the boys, we love making some NBA bets and telling each other. Right now, we're heavily in the NCAA basketball stuff. At least I am.
And check out the boost bets and all the different things that FanDuel offers. That's the best part too, is you can make that bet a little plus money action.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I forget about that.
Just
of course,
claim them all.
Yeah, I should.
50% boost on FanDuel today.
I know, I saw that.
Nice. I'll try to get that. All right. Thank you, Tampa Tims.
Thank you.
All right, it's time for the white flag. The teardown was live on YouTube following the awesome race at COTA.
Yeah, and on Monday, DBC was joined by Connor Zilisch to discuss his first win of the season. Actions Detrimental also dropped on Monday.
Herman Schrader and Speed Street will drop tomorrow. Can't wait to hear what Connor has to say about the first race of the IndyCar season. Bless Your Heart will drop on Thursdays with me and Amy. Thanks again to Jamie for filling in for me last week. And also a reminder to check out our merch store. Head on over to shop.dirtymomedia.com to check it out. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. Thanks, Christopher Bell, for coming in. Thank you, TJ, everybody here at Dirty Mo Media, and all you fans out there that listened and joined us today on our Ask Junior segment. It's a great show. And Jack Sprague is the guest for tomorrow. Old Jack Sprague, truck guy, truck champion.
Concord guy. One Track Jack.
He had a nickname called One Track Jack, and now look at him. He's a nominee or being talked about in the circles for the Hall of Fame.
It's incredible.
Quite a career.
Yeah.
We'll talk to him tomorrow.